Hey, how you doing? Johnathan Ling here with Modern Life Realty. So if you're interested in purchasing a new home, I give huge rebates back from my realtor commission back to my clients. So check me out at www.modernliferealty.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
Alright guys, let's get started. So this video is actually a follow-up to my first video, selling real estate tax-free. So if you're interested in doing a 1031 exchange, it would be a great informational video to start with. For this video, we'll be talking about the Delaware Statutory Trust. Mainly it's for people who no longer want to be a landlord or a property manager. If you are unable to identify properties for your 1031 exchange, a Delaware Statutory Trust is an option that you could use as a similar like-kind property. Sometimes 1031 exchanges, even though they have found a property and are under contract, they won't be able to complete the transaction within the allotted time. Therefore, a Delaware Statutory Trust would be a great option to complete the 1031 exchange. Sometimes, after everything has been done, the 1031 exchange has failed. Maybe the financing didn't work. And in that case, a Delaware Statutory Trust would be a great option to look towards. One thing about a Delaware Statutory Trust is you don't have to 1031 exchange into it. You can directly invest to it if you would like. So we'll start with the Delaware Statutory Trust benefits. It is tax deferred income, which is great. And you have a quick closing of 1 to 2 weeks. Typically, a residential property takes about 45 to 50 days if you have a mortgage for closing, and it may take even longer if there's a 1031 exchange involved. So this is definitely a plus. There's also a variety of Delaware Statutory Trust you can choose from. It would be up to you and your advisor to discuss what DSTs are best fit for you. You can also invest in several Delaware Statutory Trusts instead of just one when you're doing a 1031 exchange. One great feature of a Delaware Statutory Trust is the trustee makes all the decisions for you and there's no involvement by the investor. An example of how this is beneficial is if there is a financial decision that has to be made. If it was an investor-run trust, all the investors may have to be on board in order to approve the decision. But with a trustee running a Delaware Statutory Trust, only the trustee has to make the decision. So the investors, you just sit back and you basically collect what we would call mailbox money. You can 1031 exchange out of a DST as well. The investment range for a DST ranges from $50,000 to $100,000. And this is helpful if you have a property which is several $100,000 so that you can mitigate your risk over several Delaware Statutory Trusts. Also, if you are not doing a 1031 exchange and would like to invest in a Delaware Statutory Trust, that is also available for you to do. It is also possible that you may pay lower tax from a Delaware Statutory Trust income compared to ordinary income because there are allowable deductions that you can take when you invest in a Delaware Statutory Trust. Okay, moving on to the Delaware Statutory Trust restrictions. The trust, once it closes the offerings, it cannot add any more equity or debt. Any cash, such as rental income or sales proceeds, they must be distributed to the investors. The IRS does not allow the trust to hold excess cash within the trust. The trustee of the Delaware Statutory Trust makes all the decisions, what to buy, what to sell, etc., any type of repairs, so the investors have no say in how the trust is operated. There is no existing secondary market to sell your interests in a Delaware Statutory Trust, so you may have to hold the trust for the entire trust period. There are people that do have interest in buying out an investor who wants to sell his shares, mainly because the historical performance of the trust is there for them to review, as opposed to investing in a brand new trust which has no history of distributions and success rates. There is no formal secondary market, but there is a market of people who do buy Delaware Statutory Trust interests. I know I said before it was about 50 to 100,000, but most of the trust minimums are going to be around 100,000. So what investor is the best type for the Delaware Statutory Trust? If you are a rental property owner wanting to increase the return on your equity. So for example, if you own a home and you feel that the rental income is just not enough and you find that there are DSTs which have better return on equities, you may want to invest into a Delaware Statutory Trust rather than keeping your rental home. Of course, rental property owners that no longer want to be a landlord, a Delaware Statutory Trust is a great investment to look at. And of course, you have retirees that are looking for an avenue to put their retirement funds into. You must be an accredited investor to invest in a Delaware Statutory Trust. It is a third-party qualification. From what I have read, you must have outside of your personal residence $1 million of assets debt-free, or you have to have a certain income threshold per year. I believe it is around $200,000, but I am unsure. It must be double-checked with the qualifying parties. Moving on to Delaware Statutory Trust typical costs, there are these four main costs that I like to cover. The management fees are the fees that you pay the trustee to manage all of the assets within the trust. And when you buy into the trust, the initial investment, there are commissions that do need to be paid, typically to cover the work involved to set the trust up, and repairs to properties as they age, and of course the taxes that need to be paid within the trust. Well, thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. There are options other than a Delaware Statutory Trust that you can invest in, so definitely stay tuned. I recommend subscribing to my channel with alerts so that you can get the newest videos right as they are released. If you'd like more information about me, please check me out at modernliferealty.com. I do give huge rebates for new homes, so I encourage you to check me out and contact me. So thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.